Welcome back. Today we are going to learn about how to get JSON response from an LLM or LLM model, and we are also going to learn about how to implement chain of thought technique when getting a response from LLM. Before we dive into this topic, let's see what we have done in the previous video. In the previous video, we understood what is few-shot prompting. We compared zero-shot prompting and few-shot prompting. We understood the problem with zero-shot prompting. Then we went ahead and implemented few-shot prompting. After mimicking a specific style of the creator by providing the example. Today, let's see how to get a response from LLM in JSON format and how to implement chain of thought technique. If you see here, there is a AI chatbot which sends a request to AI backend, and then the AI backend responds with the text format data, and that data is sent to the app data. But the problem here is it's very difficult to parse text data into database which has multiple columns, and you have to extract data into those multiple columns. In order to resolve this issue, there is a API configuration setting that needs to be done, which is response MIME type, and we have to set that to application/JSON. This setting is available in myconfig const that we have to set up in the code base. If you see here, there is a const that we are setting, which is myconfig. This will be used in the API call to the LLM, and in the myconfig we set the response MIME type as application/JSON. This line is very important. When we set this application/JSON, we are specifically asking LLM to respond in specific JSON format. Once we set up the response MIME type as JSON, then we have to send JSON schema in the prompt to the AI call that we are making, and we have to define how the schema will be. So if you see here, we have defined the JSON schema as first keyword in the JSON schema is the reasoning, and this reasoning part is where chain of thought comes in. We will discuss this later. The next one is a headline, which will have the viral that we need from the generator, and third will be the body, which is the core content of the response that we are looking forward. So if you see here, this is how the whole architecture works. We will include the strict schema in the prompt that we are sending to AI. Then there is Gemini AI that will respond to the request, which is requested with the MIME type setting as JSON. Then a clean JSON object is sent to the front end. Then we will split the reasoning keyword data that we received from the request into a different data, and we will split the other into other different columns in the database. Here is how the prompt is structured in the call that is made to AI. So first you will ask for the instructions, then you will ask for the JSON format that you need. So here we have reasoning, headline, body, and hashtag as the keywords in the JSON schema. Then we ask the specific what kind of output we want for each of these keywords. So now that we are clear with how to get a JSON response from AI call, now let's discuss what is chain of thought. By using chain of thought, you make AI to think, AI to give reasons why it is performing certain kind of task. So by doing this, you can reduce hallucination in AI responses, and also it will be more useful to get a sound response, because while doing chain of thought reasoning, the AI will deconstruct the task and then identify constraints that it has. Then it will draft the math or logic that needs to be employed to get the final response. If you see here, a prompt with JSON schema is sent to the AI, and the first step will be the reasoning. In the schema, we already have reasoning schema that is set, which have the where we have asked it to think step by step and then come to a conclusion and then provide the output for the headline and other data that we are requesting. So it will does that, and then the data is split. The JSON will be written, and that JSON data is split into multiple data that we need in the database and other places like devlogs or terminals. To summarize, we can explain it through the schematic diagram where user will send the prompt to the AI, and AI will start internal reasoning, and it will give step by step instructions on why it is taking such decisions, and then at the end internal reasoning will end, and then it will output a response in the same format the JSON schema is requested for, and then the request is sent to backend, and backend will display that in the front end UI, which user sees it from the UI. Now that we have a perfectly formatted JSON response from AI, is the actual writing good? Do we need any improvement for the content that we are getting from the AI? If yes, If the content is not good enough, then we will go to the next video, which is the agentic loop, where we'll iterate through the content to get the much better version of what the AI is sending us. So this is what JSON formatting and chain of thought is. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments.